Welcome to It's Not About the Hair online series. My name is Valerie Fuentes. I'm your host, and today I am with Robyn Germyn. She is joining us from Orlando, Florida, which is actually not too far from me, only about 3 hours away driving. So welcome, Robyn, to the show. I'm so happy you're here. And I want to let everybody know why I was so interested in inviting Robyn. Robyn is an actor, and as you know, it's an industry that is very much based on looks. And I admire her so much for, having her page and being so open about, hair loss and just really showing herself in an industry that it's based on your look. So Robyn, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I just wanted to say that I've always loved your page and I love watching all the other videos of the other girls because when I first lost my hair, I wish I would have had that resource and I wish I would have had those people to listen to and look up to, and I didn't. So what you're doing is amazing and it's needed.
Yeah, thank you, Robyn, for sharing your story here. So let's chat about that because I know you also have been through a really long journey like me. So when did you start losing your hair?
So I first started losing my hair about 10 years ago. I woke up and I went to put my hair in a ponytail for work and I had like a missing patch of hair on the back of my head. And I never noticed, like as women, I feel like we lose hair all the time, but I never noticed a big patch or chunk missing. And so I went to the dermatologist and she told me it was something called alopecia. But then she also suggested that I go and get blood work done. And so I found out I have Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism.
Same.
And at the time, I didn't know what all three of those things were. I had never heard of any of them. And so I got like the hypothyroidism intact and started taking medicine for that. And then my hair grew back. That patch of hair grew back and it kind of grew back overnight. And I just never worried about it again. And about 5 years ago, I woke up and the amount of hair that was on my pillow, it looked like someone had cut like my ponytail in the middle of the night. And I would say over the span of like 2 weeks, I lost all of my hair and I started losing my eyebrows. Overall, I lost my eyelashes, most of my eyebrows, all my body hair, but then it grew back and it was kind of just like in waves all the time. But yeah, it's been a journey.
Yeah, and like now that you mentioned that, I think that that's also what the hardest thing for me. Like I'm wearing wigs right now, but I also had like my hair has been really good actually last year. Well, last year meaning 2019, not 2020. So right before the pandemic, like the last that holiday season, I would say, my hair was so good that I decided to go out without my hair system. I like removed it for a weekend or whatnot because that was how good it got. But that's the thing. It's like my alopecia is so cyclical. It comes and goes. Like, there are months that it's great, there are months that it's not. And it's that learning curve of how do I deal with this if it happens again? Right? Because it's almost like you get your hair back and you're like, oh my God, when is it going to start again?
I think that's the hardest part is the unknown.
Yeah.
Because you don't like, I don't know, sometimes I have the most supportive family and friends and people in my life, but sometimes I'll show them or like they'll see my hair and they get so excited about how much I've grown it or how much has grown. And I can't get excited anymore. Like it's very hard for me because I don't want to let myself enjoy it. I know tomorrow it could all fall out again.
It is heartbreaking.
The emotional trauma,
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And that's literally what happened to me. As I shared with some of you, I used to wear a hair system. So what happened that day, it was actually like the weekend of New Year's. And so I went to get my hair done for New Year's and I went with my sister because she was visiting from New York City, and we got to the salon and then they started the removal process because they, removed and they take off the glue or the tape or, whatever they use. And everybody was in shock. Like my sister was there, my hairstylist, they were like, Valerie, you healed yourself. your hair looks great. I mean, which obviously great, meaning I have hair, you know, and it was covering all the spots. Wasn't gray hair, but it was hair, right? So and I was shocked too. I didn't expect that. And I was just like, wow, is this really happening? That my hair grow back? Like, what do I do now? And so I decided that day, okay, let's just wash my hair, style it, and I'm gonna go out in the world without my hair, my hair system. And so I did that. That was a Friday, and I had it off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And in that process, like I remembered, right? I feel that when we wear hair every day, that we forget what it's like to live with hair loss.
Mm-hmm.
And so that Friday I was excited and accelerated, like, oh my gosh, I get to be myself, blah, blah, blah. But then the next day, after sleeping on the natural hair, on my bio hair, obviously it got grizzy. It got, I don't know. It just, it didn't make me feel good. I woke up the next day like, great, my hair is better, but it's not to a point where I'm gonna go out and live my life with this 3 strands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel guilty about it because I was thinking, well, if it's better, then you should just be grateful. But for the same token, I've already chosen this life. Like I feel good wearing hair, so why not wear it, right?
Yeah. And it's hard. I feel like bad for saying this, but it's like I either want it all or nothing.
Exactly.
Like I cannot stand the in between because even though I am so confident about it and I share my journey online, I don't go out in the world like this, like I cover it up. And that's my own insecurities and that's what society has put on us, but it's just hard. Every day it's hard.
So I had a question for you about that because you do wear wigs, but your hair is pretty long. How do you manage that? Like, is it uncomfortable? Why do you keep your hair? I'm curious.
It's not uncomfortable because it is really long. I actually trimmed it a little bit because my hair for some reason grows like overnight, like it grows an insane amount so quickly. But I trimmed a little bit because it is hard. I either just braid it and then like pin it up, or I do like a little like half bun and try to flatten it to my head as much as I can. But even though it's long, it's not very thick. Like it's still super tiny ponytail, so it's not too hard, but it does make it's hot wearing wigs,
Yeah, I know. I mean, you live in Florida, so that's why I was so curious because I think that at some point I'm just gonna shave it.
Yeah. The only thing that I feel like has been easier or nicer having some bit of hair like on my hairline is with wigs, it's a little bit easier to like make look natural or like gradual like hairline. And when I didn't have any hair, that was hard, but it was also the beginning. And I feel like if I knew what I know now, like then it would have been easier. But so I think because I have worked with wigs for longer and more now, if I had no hair, it'd be easier to make it look more realistic,
Yeah. So speaking of that, if knowing what you know now, is there anything that you would have done differently?
I don't think so. I just wish, because from the beginning, I started sharing my story. I told everybody in my life. Like I've always been open about it. And I just think what inspires me to be open about it is because I can't imagine living my life with that secret and that the weight of that carrying, because this is already something hard to deal with and difficult to deal with. I can't imagine on top of that carrying that around with you as a secret, So I think from the beginning, I was always open. I immediately looked for wigs before I lost all my hair. I just I wish that someone would have told me that it's an ongoing journey and it's okay to like some days to feel really sad and some days you feel good about it, or even like 5 minutes you feel bad and then the next 5 minutes you feel good. Like I just wish someone would have told me there was more information or resources out there, you know?
So I know you're, in your journey of acceptance and you're handling it really well, but right now when you have a bad day, what do you do? Like, how do you get yourself back into feeling good?
I definitely let myself feel those emotions. I think it's really important to accept however you're feeling, but not like dwell in it. I think that if you don't accept it or you ignore it and push it away, it just bottles up and it's going to eventually come to the surface. So if I'm having a bad day or like I can't get my wig to look how I want it to look, or like my head wrap's not working, I normally try to just take a moment to like pause and breathe. And I kind of do just like take like 5 deep breaths, and I just remind myself, like I say to myself little mantras or like daily affirmations, or just repeating to myself that like it could be worse. Like this sucks, it does suck, but at the end of the day, it could be way worse than what we have, And then I snap out of it. I don't know. And sometimes, I don't know, sometimes I'm like that the whole day, but then I tell myself, okay, tomorrow's a new day. Like I'm not going to waste. Life is so short. At the end of the day, we only have one life that we know of, and it's so short, and I don't want to waste it being upset about something that I can't change.
Oh my gosh, I totally agree with you. And I think, I want to go back a little bit to what you said about holding that secret. I think that for me, that was what made the radical difference, was when I decided to start talking about it. And it didn't look like a public service announcement because it took me many years to get to that, right? But it was like, sharing with one friend, 2 friends, like my family. And I feel like the more we share about it, we don't have to hide anymore. We just, you've taken that approach from the beginning, but for me, it was a journey. And now that I'm completely open about it, I feel so free.
Yeah.
And the freedom and the liberation is another level.
And I also know that it's easier said than done to just share with the world, but I want people to know that it's, even if you share with one person, it will help.
Oh my gosh.
And they don't have to, like, sometimes I have friends that are like, I don't know what to say to you, I don't want to say the wrong thing or something or upset you, but to just have someone listen to you, and they're literally just sitting next to you, holding you while you cry or something, or just vent, it helps. It really does.
Absolutely. So right now, I wanted to ask you about your career, because that's what really caught my eye when I got to your page. How does having alopecia impacted your career? Has it impacted your career at all?
Well, it's funny because I don't know, like as a society, and especially like the beauty world, we are told that like as women, we have to look perfect, have it all together, be in the best shape, have like all the time ads are pumped at us with like beauty, long hair and stuff. And I feel like we get so caught up in having it being the best that we can be when that's not even what's important, And so I think that like from the beginning, when I first lost my hair, it's so sad to say, but I wasn't even worried about my health or like what, if something was like permanently wrong, physically damaging to my organs or something. Like I just cared about my looks. And I was so worried about never being able to be an actor again, never being able to model again. And that's completely wrong. I feel like that was the mindset that was ingrained in me, which is so sad. But my goal has really been to change the industry and change that mindset. Because I don't want to give up acting. I don't want to give up modeling. Those are things that I love and I'm passionate about. I can't see myself doing anything else in life. And so I feel like I was given this strength and this happened to me for a reason. This is my purpose, and it's to change the way the industry is.
Yeah.
And for acting, it's definitely a challenge. I mean, wigs, you can make them look really real, but sometimes there's things that you just can't do. Like, I don't think that I could go like bungee jumping or like in, swimming. I don't know. So there's some roles that may not be mine, or I may not get them because of that. But overall, I think I just try to remind myself that it gives me a little bit of an upper hand, because I can look however you want me to look. I can have whatever hair color, hairstyle. And I also think it's something that casting directors or audience members watching, like, they really connect to you. And I think authenticity is something that people are really attracted to. And I think it goes a long way. So I just try to remind myself that, like, that's my bonus. I don't know. That's
Oh my gosh, 100%. I mean, I'm clearly I'm not in the industry, but that's the way I look at it, right? Like when I look at you, I'm like, wow, like she's different. She's embracing it. She's, being fully raw and authentic. And that's what I would want to go for, right? Like, because people connect to you because your walls are down. Let's put it that way, right? And that shows immediately through the lens, through whatever thing you're doing, like your walls are down. And I think that, I mean, it happened to me, right? Like my walls were up for years, and I wasn't doing any castings, but I was out in the world, and my relationships were not deep enough, or I wasn't connecting, or I wasn't being myself with other people because my walls were up. And so, I think that's actually like a serious side effect of hair loss is the walls are up and we don't want to let anybody in. And that sucks, is we have to learn to just be ourselves all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
What's next for you? Is there anything, do you have like a goal of anything that you want to do when it comes to embracing, hair loss, or speaking about it, or with your career?
So I've started kind of gearing towards supporting myself as being like a content creator or an influencer, because I feel like I do have a message to share, and I do have like a specific niche, So I've been doing that, and it's also fulfilling that creative, like, artist side in me, which is cool. And I'm sharing products that I love and actually use, like wigs and like wig grips and stuff. So I've been doing that. And then I have always wanted to, when I first lost my hair about a year after, I wrote a speech, and I gave like a public speech a couple times. And it's a goal of mine to do a TED Talk, whether that be like the TEDx, the smaller version, or hopefully one day like the full TED Talk stage, or just somewhere where I can get that speech out in the world, because I said it and I loved it and felt it and believed everything, but I kind of over the years forgot about a lot of the stuff that I knew or like said back then. And recently I reread it, and I just was like, people need to hear this. People, I don't know. I feel like sometimes you get so far away from who you are and why you're doing the things that you do,
Yeah.
And so my goal hopefully would be to give that speech again somewhere.
Oh my gosh, you will. I have no doubt. It's happening. Yeah, it's happening. Awesome. Well, we are really close to the end of that interview. I wanted to thank you for being here. I know you have a special giveaway for us. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I actually partnered with Forever Young Wigs, which is a synthetic wig company. They were one of the first wigs that I found when I like first started searching for wigs, and they truly, like, that collection, the Forever Young collection, like changed my life, because they're so real looking and like very like trendy hip hairstyles. And so if you don't want to wear like a real haired wig every day, that could be really pricey, and you don't want to ruin it or cut the life of it shorter, the synthetic wigs are a great option. And so I partnered with them to give away my favorite hairstyle, like wig that they have. So yeah.
Awesome. So all the giveaway instructions are going to be below at the bottom of the page. So make sure to participate. Robyn, is there any last piece of advice that you want to share with us before we go?
I think just, again, knowing that it's okay, like what you're feeling and going through, it's okay. And you're worthy no matter what. And you're beautiful no matter what hair is on your head or isn't on your head. And even, I think another advice, like if you really are not to that point where you can't tell one person, journal it, write it all down, just get it out in some way, in some form. I think it really helps to release the feelings that we have and accept what we can't change, because I am proof that doors open and people come to you, love comes to you when you embrace what was given to you and what you can't change.
Yes, I love that.
I know.
I love that. And I totally feel that the same way. So everybody, please make sure to follow Robyn. I promise you, her message of body positivity is so beautiful. I'm so inspired by everything you share. And so good luck with everything. I can't wait to see the TED Talk because I know it's happening. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I will see you on the next interview. Bye.